numerous health problems for both pregnant women and the fetus. Shackling during labor may cause complications during delivery, such as hemorrhage or decreased fetal heart rate. If a cesarean section is needed, the delay of even 5 minutes may result in permanent brain damage for the baby. The consequences of this practice for women involve a number of health problems and sometimes include the death of the women themselves. The final part of this lead-off will cover the most insidious prison in the United States. It's not a supermax full of violent offenders, but a detention facility for immigrants and their families. The T. Don Hutto Residential Center is a 512-bed minimum security prison in Taylor, Texas. It was opened in 2006 by the ICE, the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency formed under the Bush administration after 9/11. It was signed off by Williamson County Judge Dan Gaddis for the purpose of detaining immigrants and their families. The prison is administered by the Corrections Corporation of America, the CCA, the largest private prison corporation in the United States. Prior to Hutto, these families were allowed to return to their homes under supervision while their cases were under review. 90% of all asylum seekers complied with these conditions. The trend in imprisoning entire families of immigrants is spreading across the United States. Children in another facility in Berks County, Pennsylvania are in prison. In fact, ICE suggested that there are, or will be, at least 23 of these facilities in the United States. The government has never told the general public how many family detention centers exist. Most of Hutto's inmates are in the process of applying for political asylum. They come from violent and impoverished countries such as Honduras, Guatemala, El Salvador, Somalia, Palestine, Lithuania, Romania, Iraq, and many other countries. The 490 detainees in Hutto have not been charged with a crime against the United States, yet they are locked in cells and forced to wear prison uniforms. Many inmates die during their stay at Hutto due to untreated medical conditions or abuse. Nearly half of Hutto's inmates are children, including infants and toddlers. Most of the other inmates are women, many of them pregnant women. The women receive little or no prenatal care. Prisoners are served rotten food and are severely abused. It has been reported that guards have threatened children with separation from their parents. Numerous abuses are carried out at the prison. There are even reports of guards raping women in front of their children. The prisoners are not violent offenders, nor are they even criminals, yet they are denied the right to legal representation and the right to prove their innocence. The prisoners are not allowed visitation rights, and they are prohibited from speaking to anyone on the outside. The United Nations was not even allowed to inspect the prison. Knowledge of the prison conditions eventually caused uproar among those on the outside. As a result, Barack Obama stated that the facility would be shut down, and Williams County allowed their contract with CCA to expire at the end of 2008. A statement was issued by the Department of Homeland Security in 2009 stating that the use of Hutto for family detention would be discontinued, and that the prison would be used for female detainees only. In an insane move, Williamson County commissioners used the time between the ending of the contract and the statement by the Department of Homeland Security to redact a new contract with CCA. In other words, Hutto was once again open for business. The new contract allowed Hutto to house both women and federal detainees. Federal detainees are not defined to include only adults or to exclude children. So the new contract leaves room for the continued detention of children and their families. Even if the contract referred exclusively to women, this would still amount to women being separated from their families for the simple fact that they are refugees without papers. I believe that the Hutto facility is the paramount example of the cruelty inherent in the prison industrial complex. Women and their children are detained and as a result abused. For what? For the simple fact that it is profitable to oppress those who have no legal right to defend themselves. As I stated earlier, women prisoners are an oppressed group within an oppressed group. Women's rights cannot be separated from prisoners' rights, if only for the fact that women account for a growing population within prisons. Their health care is denied, they are raped, assaulted, blackmailed, and are separated from their children. In order to fight both women's and prisoners' oppression, we must look at and address the root causes which allow oppression to happen.